As I've been saying in past videos, I think that front-end engineers have the least job security as the startup bubble is bursting and the tech industry is moving into a recession with the rest of the American economy. And today I see on Ask CS Questions, it's actually CS Career Questions, what is an unpopular opinion that you are afraid to get a downvote on? One user says, "We are past peak web technologies. Everything now is extremely complicated. JavaScript libraries are overloaded and tool chains are convoluted. I am uncertain how new people have any idea where to start." This is a big aspect of why I think that front-end engineers are going to struggle on the job search, and there's going to be less front-end opportunities in the future. Number one, we have a lot of jobs in the tech industry that say you only need to know JavaScript, and we have a ton of people in the industry that know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but that is about all. Maybe they are UX or marketing people, but often they are front-end engineers. They call themselves web developers sometimes, but that's not the term that a lot of companies use for people who are using mostly front-end technologies. And another aspect of it is that you have convoluted chains for tools that are front end, or putting a lot of the web infrastructure on the front end in JavaScript libraries that are overloaded, when some of those functions could be moved to the backend infrastructure, or some of these tool chains could be automated better. That is what DevOps engineers do, is that they automate away their jobs. And I think as the economy changes, a lot of companies are going to look at the toolings that they're using in the front end infrastructure and try to get rid of vendors. Also, I do think there's going to be less front end opportunities in the future. Now, if anyone watching in this video works mostly front end, I'm sure you know you can freelance and make these websites for small businesses. Sometimes they are stores, or maybe they are like online university or classes, and you can make a couple $1,000s doing that. A lot of people do that freelance, and there's a ton of people who call themselves social media branders or marketers. They have a creative director title. It's them and one other person that's working remote with several different companies. And that's the hustle. It's definitely high stress, high competition there. But then you have front-end developers at what's a business that's big? The Spotify, that only need to know JavaScript for their job. I've seen a ton of people that go from the Girls Who Code to their first Spotify developer job that only takes JavaScript, to another job that's a front-end JavaScripting kind of job at a more reputable tech company. And while these people might have big names on their resume like Spotify, I do think that they may struggle in the future with their job search, especially if they are job hoppers. I have another video on job hopping that I will try to put into a link somewhere so you can check it out. But then you have people who have been front-end developers at no-name companies you've never heard of. I'm pretty sure you've never heard of the company that I work at, and we have millions of dollars of profit that we are making. So there's going to be an interesting reckoning that will happen. You have front-end developers at Tesla. Well, Tesla pays pretty moderate level for any Los Angeles company. They don't necessarily pay at the tech industry salary ranges. So someone that's a front-end person from Tesla may be able to get a reasonable pay increase at a new company that they go to. Tesla is a somewhat reputable name in the tech industry, so that can take your resume places. But if you're an Amazon engineer that's doing mostly JavaScript and you got let go in one of the workforce sheddings, then you would have to consider a company that doesn't have the same reputation as Amazon. Amazon's one of the best paying companies. I've seen the packages laid out for various job titles, and I know that people coming out of Amazon will have unreasonable salary expectations or workplace environment expectations. For example, they may expect more hybrid or more remote work. I don't know how long it'll take these people to adjust their expectations, but I would suggest, if I am talking about you, to consider adjusting your expectations so that you can be a more agreeable candidate. I'm not sure how to word it. You want to open up your opportunities by not closing too many doors. As we go into a recession, the mindset anyone should have in or outside of the tech industry is that the more opportunity you have, the more options that you have. You don't want to cut off opportunities until you know you have plenty of options to choose from. If you are considering to go into front-end development, I would suggest that you learn how to deploy your own code onto the cloud. Maybe consider a marketer who needs a code or a designer who needs the code. I see a ton of, I'm actually looking at right now, UI applications, UX applications. A ton of people in UI and UX are on the job search. A ton of these people have really short tenures, and I would say definitely half of the people that had applied to my job are less than 1 year into their current job. I saw lots of 2020 present for tenure links. That is crazy to me. That is half the people. That is just terrible job tenure. Those are job hoppers. Those are people that are going to struggle to find a new job. They may need to find different ways to apply their skills into different job titles or industries, but front-end developers that are struggling to get a job could consider snagging some of these designer roles because they can adjust the code. They can take the design that they make and apply it straight into code. So what you really need to learn how to do is how to become a decent designer. And modern design is kind of brainless if you keep up with any sort of design influencers, magazines, or publications. I mean, I have a design background, and I got bored with it because it is kind of easy to hack it, and even creating new trends isn't that difficult when everyone's like copying the graphic design of Google and Facebook. So that's something that I would suggest if you are front end, or I mean, try to lean into the back end if you can. Now, if you watch my videos, you know I think that the cloud and back end industry will be able to survive the economy a little bit better. So maybe this is your chance to learn how to use Docker containers, maybe get into AWS, GCP, Azure, or whatever cloud that your company is using. But I would try to move on that quickly. I don't necessarily suggest AWS, GCP certifications. They don't go too far. Your best bet is to ask the people at your company to give you more exposure to those skill sets. You could explore different certification options that they may have online. I wouldn't suggest, the AWS certification, but maybe if you have some sort of intro to Docker class that you can take that gives you a little thing you can put on your LinkedIn, might as well. I would say a lot of people are going to be pivoting into cloud technologies or back-end roles right now, so you're going to be one of many. Consider your background to know which direction would be better for you, and consider to stay at your job as long as you can. Ask how you can perform better. I wouldn't necessarily say ask for higher standards or expectations, but ask for ways to ensure your job stability. Job stability is kind of a myth nowadays. It's not the 40s. We don't get these great retirement packages. So it is hard to stay loyal to a job when you know that most jobs out there are not that loyal to their employees. But fake it until you make it. Right now is a time to seem like you love your employer. You would never talk bad about their benefit packages or compensation packages. If you're on the job search, definitely subscribe to this channel. I have a lot of other videos on this subject. I'm going into more how people responded to that main comment on Reddit I had read. Another user says, in addition, stop shoving complex JS front ends where they don't belong. This over-reliance on JS front-end libraries is not just wrecking the performance of every device with a web browser, but is breaking the open internet as well to some extent, requiring scrapers, search bots, and etc. to execute JS before parsing pages. So this is part of a reason, right? Why I think that front end is going to start reducing its presence in the workforce, because people are tired of over-reliance on the front end JavaScript libraries, that every device is just struggling with the web browsers to open these internet pages to an extent. And it's a great way for a company to seem like they're improving their product when they're not contributing new new internal applications, new complex internal applications, platforms, or softwares. They can just fix the front end software development code that they have, adapt some of it to the back end, get rid of a few front end developers, automate everything in the back end, and improve the product with a lower budget needed to get that done. The user continues to say, there are many valid reasons to say, let me say this again. There are many valid reasons to use, say, React, but it is not some standard web development shoehorn in the same way a web server or a TLD is. I see tutorials meant to introduce people to web development, teaching React as an essential to web development stack as backend framework. Please stop. Backend generated HTML from web applications created 30 years ago works even better today than when it was written. That's hilarious. Yeah, React is not a backend tool, and I have seen people list that as a backend tool. I mean, it's a framework, right? Let me know in the comments below. But that's just another reflection on where the industry is headed with front-end jobs and front-end development. People are tired of just overcomplicated front-end stuff. A lot of that has become overcomplicated from hiring a ton of front-end developers to do work. Generally speaking, front-end developers are not the highest paid developers. Usually it's more back-end, cloud, or sometimes mobile iOS developers make a ton of money, but front-end is not the highest paid software developer, but often is one of the first jobs that people get is a front-end job out of college. But that is what I think about front-end development. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. My name is April. Please subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in the next one.